Good morning, everyone. My name is James D. Anglaser, and I am your teacher for today. This morning, I'm gonna be discussing our new topic, which is all about the bleeding of braking system. But before that, I want you to listen, understand our topic, so that you can apply it to your field of specialization, which is automotive servicing. In this topic, our objectives are: first, you must know the importance of bleeding of a braking system. Second, you can enumerate the steps on how to bleed the braking system. And last, you can perform how to bleed the braking system. The tools needed in this topic are: first, you must have a jack stand. The jack stand is used to lift up the vehicle. Second, you must have the wrench, box wrench or combination wrench. Third, the hose with a container. And the last tool is brake fluid. So these are the tools that is needed to our topic. But before that, look at the picture in the board. This picture tells us the car moving in a downhill. And try to imagine, if the brake of this car malfunctioned, what gonna be the result? Okay, there is a tendency that this car will fall in a cliff. Second scenario, try to imagine a car running in a highway about 100 km/h, and suddenly the brake of this car failed. What gonna be the result? There is a tendency that this car will lead into an accident. Okay, so sometimes accident that happen in the road because of many reasons, and one of these reasons is the malfunctioned brake. Hindi na po gumana yung brake natin. Isa po yan sa rason bakit nagkakaroon ng aksidente sa daan. That is why this time we're gonna learn on how to ensure the performance of our brake system. There are many ways on how to check the brake system, like the proper maintenance, changing of the defective components, and many more. But one of the way on how to check the brake system is the bleeding. That is why this morning we are going to learn on how to bleed the braking system to avoid unnecessary things like accidents to happen. Okay, now, I have here some questions. Who among you here experienced driving a vehicle without brake or poor braking performance? Sino ba dito yung mga nakatry ng mag-drive ng motorcycle, ng car, na yung brake niya is mahina na or hindi na talaga nag-function yung brake? So it is very hard to drive a vehicle without brake. If your vehicle do not have a brake, or the brake of your vehicle is in bad condition, don't try to drive it in a highway. Why? Because there is a possibility that you're gonna be involved in an accident, in a road accident. Why? Because brake system is very, very important in a vehicle. This system helps the driver to slow down in case of emergencies, and this system also helps the driver on how to stop the vehicle. Okay, imagine if you do not have a brake system, you can stop your vehicle from running. Okay, so now, in our activity this morning, I have here some pictures, and these pictures are the tools that needed in our topic, in bleeding the braking system. We have 4 pictures and I want you to name the pictures based on the numbers. Just write your answer in your paper. First, we have this picture. Number 1 picture. Okay? Write your name in your paper. And let's find out if you have an idea what is this tool all about, or what is the name of this tool. Second tool, eto. Anong pangalan nito? Third, this one. And fourth, this one. Again, just write your answer in your paper. So now, this time, we are going to have another activity. And this activity refers to the bleeding of braking system. I have here a video in the board and I want you to follow this video on how to bleed the brake system. If you have your vehicle, your motorcycle, just follow the instructions provided, and it's very important that you have the tools needed so that you can perform this activity. Okay, while performing this activity, I want you to take photos, proof that you have done this activity, and after that you can send it to me.
Silicone piping that you can see through, which is really important. And then at the end here, we've got a little coupler that goes onto the bleed nipple. You can even just use the end of the silicone piping, but these can be purchased at any auto parts store. So with this and the wrenches, let's start bleeding. So to begin bleeding, first we're gonna need a friend to help pump the pedal. I'm gonna show you today is the 2-person method. This is really easy if you wanna do it at home with a friend. So what I've got here is I've got a wrench hooked up to the bleeder valve, and then from there I've got our little bleeder attached on top of it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crack the bleeder valve, open it up, and I'm gonna get the person in the car to press the brake pedal all the way to the floor, and I'm then going to close the valve. He is then going to raise the pedal all the way up, and this will refill the master cylinder, and we're gonna continue this process. What this is gonna do is we're gonna just be cycling fluid through the system until we've got completely clear fluid coming out of this line here, and that's gonna show us that there's no air bubbles in the system, and this wheel is bled. Open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. So throughout this process, make sure to keep the master cylinder topped up with brake fluid. If it goes dry, you're gonna have to bench bleed it and even re-bleed all the wheels. So make sure it stays topped up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bleed the brake that is the furthest away from the master cylinder. Once that brake has got clear fluid coming out of it and there's no more air, we're going to move on to the next brake. And we're going to do this same process over and over again until all the brakes are bled. Again, moving from the furthest wheel to the closest wheel to the master cylinder. Once all the brakes have got clear fluid coming out of them, you're done. So if you've bled all your brakes and you notice that maybe there's still a little bit of air in your system, perhaps your pedal's a little bit spongy, what I'd recommend to do is get the person in the car to pump up the pedal, build some pressure, and then hold the pedal down. This will push all the air right to the end of the wheels, and then from there what you want to do is quickly crack the bleeder and close it up again. This will tend to get the last little bit of air out of the system and give you a nice pedal feel.
Okay, now since you are done with your activity, I will explain to you now the importance of different tools in bleeding the brake system. First tool is the jack stand. Okay? The jack stand is used to raise the vehicle. There is a vehicle that is very low in height. For example, cars. yung mga cars, mabababa sila, hindi tayo makaka-repair sa ilalim ng cars kasi nga, yung height niya is masyadong mababa. That is why we are going to use jack stand. Jack stand to raise the vehicle. Papataasin niya ngayon yung vehicle. Okay, so that we can bleed. Pwede tayong pumasok sa ilalim. Doon tayo at we can bleed the brake system. Okay, kasi pag hindi natin erase yung car, napakababa niya. Hindi tayo makakapasok sa ilalim. So that is the purpose of jack stand. To raise the vehicle. Iaangat niya ngayon yung vehicle. Second, we have the wrench. Okay, the wrench is a tool used to tighten or loosen the bleeder screw. Okay, pag mag-bleed tayo, kailangan nating luwagan yung bleeder screw ng brake system. In order to loosen that bleeder screw, we must have a wrench. Probably, the wrench size is 10 mm, but it depends on the size of the bleeder screw. Okay, so depende pa rin yun siya sa sasakyan. Pero most of the bleeder screw, ang size niyan is 10 mm. So wrench, we can use either combination wrench or open-end wrench. Next tool is the container and hose. So the container, pwede yung 1 liter container lang. The purpose of that is to store the brake fluid para hindi masasayang. Kasi pag walang containers, masasayang ngayon yung brake fluid na mabuhos sa floor natin. So, you can use that using this container. After bleeding, yung mga excess na mga brake fluid